All right. Well, hello, hi, and welcome to Improve Customer Experience with AI-driven Insights by unifying the power of Salesforce Data Cloud with Databricks Data Intelligence Platform. What a title, hey? What a topic. Now, today's exciting webinar is sponsored by Salesforce and Databricks, if that wasn't clear, and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name is Jess Steinbach. I'm with Actual Tech Media. I am so happy to be your moderator for this conversation today because this is my first webinar back after the holiday break. I missed all of you wonderful folks out there. I'm so happy to see you all here with us today. And we have so much to explore together, along with our incredible expert presenters who are going to take us through a more interactive conversation. We're going to get into some Q&A at the end. We've got lots to talk about. Bring your own lake, bring your own model, AI, ML, and how all of these innovative ideas and solutions can help you unify your data and create that customer experience that you have been dreaming of. What a day. What an opportunity. I cannot wait to get started. So let's get through our usual housekeeping info nice and quick, and then we can get things rolling here. All right, so first, to start out, we're going to take that little tour. I know you all know this. I know that you know your audience console, but it's been a while, right? A little holiday brain. So let's just do a little reminder. All right, so the first thing you're going to find is that questions and handouts window on your webinar console. Let's start with the questions tab. Now, this is the best place to get involved, to get interactive, and post all of those wonderful, insightful, burning questions, all your comments, all your feedback, all your cool ideas. We want to hear from you. Again, our wonderful speakers want this to be a fun and interactive conversation, so be sure you find that questions tab now. And if you haven't already done it, you can do a little test run. You can say hi, you can say hello, give a wave, say Happy New Year to the community out here with us today. Now, a quick side note, that questions window is also going to be the best place to reach out and let us know if you do have any technical issues during the session. As always, knock on wood. However, we all know that every once in a while, the technology gets its little gremlins in it. So if that happens, a browser refresh is going to get rid of most of those little gremlins. But if not, if that's not working, don't worry about it. Shoot us a message in the questions window and the Actual Tech Media crew will be there to help you out. Excuse me now. The last thing I want to point out, wow, I'm rusty. The last thing I want to point out on your audience console is the handouts tab. So go make sure that you're checking out these resources before we head out today. There's so much to learn and lots to get into, and you're going to want some of these follow-ups and takeaways to make sure you can dig into this conversation a little bit further. So make sure you've got that handouts tab open. All right. And in case you were wondering, it is not just awesome content that we're giving away today. We also have a $250 Amazon gift card, which we will be giving away as a prize drawing at the end of our webinar. Now, of course, you do need to be here in live attendance during our webinar, and all winners must meet the Actual Tech Media prize terms and conditions. If you're not sure what those terms and conditions are, no problem. You can head on over to that handy dandy handouts tab that we were just chatting about. Click in, scroll down, and you will find the full T's and C's waiting for you there. All right, my friends. Now, I know that you have all got all these questions just piling up all the way through break. You were just waiting to get into this interactive conversation today. And I know that we're not going to have any problems getting them all out today. However, as a little extra incentive for you to ask those wonderful questions that you have all collected in your head right now, we have a best question gift card that we will be giving away at the end of our webinar. That means we're going to review all the questions asked and we will follow up with the best question asked. So get those questions in because, hey, it's awesome. It's more fun. You're going to get some great answers. And B, you may win a $50 Amazon gift card. So questions coming, right? Get that rolling in. All right, well, that's it. That's all. That's our housekeeping, our info. That's all we need to cover, which means it is time to get our incredible conversation rolling and bring our awesome speakers on out here with me. So today we get to chat with a superstar lineup, a dynamic duo, and that is CJ Buskey, Technical Architect Lead at Salesforce, and Ali Hepp, Solutions Architect at Databricks. Ali, CJ, I cannot wait to get into this conversation. We got lots in store. So all of you out there, hang tight. Let's get our awesome speakers on out here with us. All right, Ali, CJ, thank you so much for being here with us today. I am so excited to get into this conversation with you guys today.
So happy to be here.
Really excited to be here.
Well, we are going to have a great day, and I have a question to kick things off today. And CJ, I think I'm going to send this to you first, and then Allie, if you've got anything you want to add in. I really am curious about this partnership. What brings you here together today, and how these two incredible companies are working together. What was the start of the partnership? What can you tell us, CJ?
Yeah, absolutely, Jess, and thanks for turning it over. I mean, yeah, I'm also very excited to get to dive in a little bit more on what this means with this partnership and really the capabilities that this is going to help enable for both sets of customers that both Salesforce and Databricks really get to work with on a day-to-day basis. So I think it would be good though to quickly start for anybody that is not as familiar with both Salesforce and Databricks, just to quickly talk or mention about what is our main kind of customer base? What are the main things that we do and that we pride ourselves in being good at? At Salesforce, we are the world's #1 CRM. We have been that since 1999, so about 20 almost 25 years now, which is crazy to think about. But really, our vision has always been able to help you connect with your customers in a whole different way. We've not only helped build out CRM in terms of sales and service, but we also have really helped found the try to build the software as a service model to give you more flexibility and control and how you're able to use software and let us kind of handle a lot of the work around being able to update and manage that software. So one thing with Salesforce though is a lot of people look at Salesforce and think immediately as CRM. You think about sales reps working within Salesforce, maybe even service agents, but we are a lot of different things besides just sales and service. We also have our marketing cloud, which is delivering personalized engagement, outbound kind of messaging at scale. We have a commerce platform that really helps maximize your revenue for a business. And we also, of course, have Slack, which is there to be able to connect your teams and apps to different partners. And these apps, they run on a powerful kind of low code platform that we use for called Hyperforce. And one of those that is kind of a founding piece of that is Data Cloud. Data Cloud is I think, our most exciting, honestly, our kind of our newest solution to enter the space in terms of being that kind of foundational piece of data that can kind of bring together all of your Salesforce applications together. That's where you're connecting really any device, any real-time data, batch data, and being able to do that in a manner that really supports a lot of this kind of open ecosystem. So Data Cloud at its core is really an ability to federate, harmonize all of your data from any product or system in Salesforce. You can help use Data Cloud to bring together your Salesforce and non-Salesforce hosted data to help build a true kind of customer 360 profile given an individual. And Data Cloud also helps you democratize your data. So one of the things that is a significant kind of value driver for Data Cloud is to be able to make data more easily available. So if you have a marketer that wants to be able to segment across different data sets, including sales and service and marketing, or you have a sales user that wants to be able to see a list of an individual's transactions over time or open service cases, Data Cloud is kind of that unifier that brings that together and opens up that ability. That being said, the data that you bring into Data Cloud, Data Cloud is only as good as the data that you have available to bring into Data Cloud. And we understand there's a lot of organizations that are working with these kind of enterprise data platforms that really help bring that together and build that from an enterprise kind of data strategy. So I'm actually going to kick this over to Allie to talk a little bit more on the Databricks side and how Databricks is really one of those major partners that we kind of eyed to be a major kind of source for Data Cloud.
Yes, perfect. Ali, I want to hear all about what's going on at Databricks, and I'm really excited to get into the generative AI side of things as well. So yeah, Ali, what do you got?
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, CJ. Thanks, Jess. So, Databricks is really the inventor of the lakehouse paradigm, and we are pioneers in generative AI. Our founders created many of the most successful open source projects in data and AI, such as Delta Lake, MLflow, and Apache Spark. These projects really form the foundation for the open approach that we really focus on here at Databricks. At Databricks, our mission has always been really similar to what CJ said about Salesforce, right? Democratizing data and AI, How can we make it simple and accessible, enabling every company, not just the 1%, to become a data and AI company? And one of the things that we've seen across organizations and kind of the challenge historically with data and AI is they were completely siloed within organizations, right? You would have to buy lots of different softwares and tools and stitch them all together to really support what all of your data teams are trying to do day in and day out. You had data warehouses, which were great for storing your structured data for your analysts and their BI workloads. You might utilize data lakes, and they were great with supporting your unstructured or semi-structured data for your data scientists and their ML use cases. And you also had ETL and orchestration across the platforms to prepare and move the data. But with these data silos really created three primary problems within an organization. First, there's a different approach to security and governance within each of these different platforms. And another thing which we've seen generative AI really shine a bright light on is AI opens up a lot of data privacy and control questions. How do we manage that? And then the third kind of primary problem with data silos is there's just not enough technically skilled people to make sense of all of these systems. So even if you are one of the organizations who can solve these three problems, your company likely is reliant on your technical teams to create each of the data products for the rest of the organization, which ultimately prevents you from scaling. So with that, Databricks really pioneered the Lakehouse architecture in 2020 to solve these problems. All data within the Databricks Lakehouse is stored in a low-cost cloud data lake in an open format. And then this data is really unified under an open management layer to provide additional reliability and open sharing capabilities. And with that one consistent approach, you have a single approach to your security and governance and cataloging as well. And with this on the Lakehouse Foundation, really being able to operate all of your data and AI workloads. So we've really seen a tremendous adoption in the Lakehouse category. Today, roughly 74% of global CIOs report that they have a Lakehouse in their data estate. And while Lakehouse adoption has already become really a force in the market, there's been another rapidly rising technology. And of course, that's generative AI. So Databricks has now brought Gen AI capabilities on top of the Lakehouse with our data intelligence platform. So with the same foundation of the Lakehouse, you now have a combined intelligence engine that you can understand the semantics of your data and use that understanding across everything in the platform. You can utilize natural language to understand your data and relationships between it. For analytical workloads, you can actually utilize text to SQL, right? Letting Databricks do a lot of that heavy lifting for you and generating the code necessary for you. And then in addition to simplifying a lot of these workloads, the platform is also built to enable you to build your own generative AI applications. You have optionality to build models from scratch or tune existing models on your data and have full control of maintaining that privacy and control. You can also manage your AI workflow end to end in a single platform, helping you deploy and manage models all the way through to production. And you have transparency with AutoML, really helping find the best model quickly without any loss of control. And then I think most importantly, right, having the ability to monitor and govern your models to ensure that the results are reproducible while maintaining your standards and compliance rules. And I think kind of best of all, because Databricks Intelligence Platform is built on open source and open standards, it integrates really easily with the entire data and AI ecosystem. And I think that that brings us to kind of this partnership with Salesforce and how we can kind of come together to provide more for our customers that we're going to be focusing on today.
That's such a perfect segue, Ali, because I want to bring it around back to the folks here with us in the audience today. Both you and CJ have kind of touched on this idea that we're getting, data isn't just centralized in one team anymore. We're not, it's not just one group of people in an organization that are thinking and talking about data. That's going across the entire organization, and it has impacts on, teams that maybe we wouldn't have expected to be as involved in this conversation, a couple years ago. And so I want to talk about that, kind of removal of the silos and who you are working with in Databricks, in Salesforce, and how the solution is really helping across the organization, and where we're seeing those impacts. So, Ali, can I ask you to dig into that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit it nail on the head, right? When we think about data and AI, it influences the entire organization, every single team. And because of this, there's a need to make it simple and accessible across those teams. With Databricks, right, we provide really a unified central UI for a lot of those data teams. Think your data analysts, your data scientists, your data engineers, to collaborate on and access, analyze, and predict on that same single copy, single view of the data. And when we think about the data personas within an organization that we typically work with, one way to kind of bucket them, so to speak, is data enablers and data consumers. A data enabler being roles that are typically responsible for collecting, processing, and transforming data, making that data available and accessible to other parts of the organization or system. And then data consumers, on the other hand, being individuals or teams that utilize and interpret that data to derive insights, make informed decisions, or perform specific tasks. So here we have just a couple key personas that we typically think of when we think about data and AI. At Databricks, we primarily work with personas that fall into that data enabler category, or roles that kind of bridge both the enablers and the consumers. So first we have CTOs, or your head of IT, right? Their goal is to simplify and consolidate, modernize their tech stack. And we typically see them utilizing Databricks to do just that, rather than having the data warehouse for analytics, a data lake for data science. They can consolidate those tool sets by utilizing Databricks Data Intelligence Platform, which has all of these capabilities built into one. Typically, teams in this area will build those end-to-end pipelines, or ingestion and processing and scheduling of different workloads, automating a lot of the complexity of building out and maintaining pipelines and ETL workloads directly on a data lake, and instead utilizing some of the streamlined solutions in Databricks that allow them to really focus their time on higher value work instead. Another persona that we come across often is head of data. Their focus is typically to partner with business teams to deliver value through their technology, through their data and analytics, while also ensuring the agility and ability to increase top line impact while optimizing for cost. And the value that we typically see Databricks offer these types of personas is access to instant and scalable compute, being able to decouple storage from compute, and really reducing infrastructure and maintenance costs on the lakehouse. And when it comes to kind of overseeing quality and durability of the strategic vision for data science workloads, we typically work with CIOs or head of data science on that. We know that business metrics won't move if data science projects can't execute quickly and reliably. So because of this, we work with a lot of data science teams to increase productivity with MLflow. MLflow really enforces sound and repeatable processes, which simplify a lot of the coordination between data science and ML engineering or DevOps, really making it easy for data scientists to collaborate with their data engineering teams or with their ops teams, and removing the obstacles to accessing some of the critical data that they need to make good models. And again, kind of spending time on more high value work rather than kind of the handoff and coordination between internal teams. And then the last persona that we have here, right, are CMOs, our head of customer experience. Now, everything I just spoke about and those other personas, whether it's building pipelines, creating analytics, insights, or predictive models, all of that really sets the foundation for what the CMO and what the business teams will utilize. And this is really where I personally see um, the impact and the value of this Salesforce and Databricks partnership come to fruition, leveraging that data foundation, the insights of all of that big data that organizations are capturing and with Databricks to personalize that customer experience and deliver kind of increased revenue for the organization by making that available to the CMO and those business teams.
Awesome. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, CJ, I was going to ask if we could hear from you. So you're
sure.
on it.
Yeah, and I mean, and definitely concur with everything Ali had just kind of gone through. Obviously at Salesforce, we were working with these, very similar types of stakeholders. But one thing we wanted to also highlight too, and how it relates to this partnership is some of those actual users, like where this would be potentially an impact on, and some of the challenges and problems that they're facing in kind of their day to day. So, from the Salesforce side, while we're working with many different stakeholders, across kind of all areas of the organization, including some of the ones Ali obviously just highlighted, in terms of the executive level with like a CTO or CIO, CDO, especially for the CMO when it comes to any of like the marketing-based use cases. We're also trying to better understand at Salesforce what are the requirements and needs from those who are actually using the software to drive business outcomes. And some of the examples that we typically will be identifying and trying to understand and building within our products are around, for example, first you have your CRM admins and managers, right? These are folks who will typically act as kind of a bridge between business stakeholders who are coming up with more of the kind of strategic elements and where we want to kind of go in terms of implementing use cases, and then IT, who is actually managing the technology and helping kind of provide using potentially something obviously like Ali had said with Databricks, in order kind of to be able to provide sort of that data layer, that foundation to make those use cases come to life. So they want an easier way really to kind of connect the dots from what IT is already either currently building or plans to build, and what the business wants for sales and service use cases within, for an existing CRM environment. So if you're using or familiar with Salesforce Service Cloud or Sales Cloud, these are the folks that are trying to kind of build within those tools to try and meet those appropriate use cases. They'll be talking to IT, who is going to be providing some of the different data sets, and they'll be working with business to kind of understand what data is required, what do they need to be able to kind of capture those requirements in their CRM instance. Then we have the digital marketing managers. So this is more obviously on the marketing side, where they're also acting in a similar role as the CRM admins and managers, but they're more of kind of that bridge between business and IT with the marketing lens, right? They're looking at implementing use cases on marketing technology applications. So they, would be in typically like using within Salesforce, they'll be using things such as like Salesforce Marketing Cloud or Salesforce Account Engagement, where there is a requirement from some of the business in terms of implementing potentially a new kind of like, let's say it's an onboarding program, or it's a retention or loyalty type of outbound engagement. They're the ones that are kind of working to try and gather those requirements and then also work with IT to implement those. And they've long desired to make more relevant customer data available in an easier way that would be able to have those marketers segment to be able to drive more of that marketing engagement. And then we have our sales VPs. Those are the ones who are overseeing a given brand's or market's reps. And what they are ultimately concerned with and using Salesforce for is they want to be able to derive insights quickly. And they want to make those insights available to their reps within CRM, within Sales Cloud, or for example, if you're working with somebody who's a service manager, a VP of service to try and help their service agents, they want to help bring those insights to ultimately drive better business outcomes and more revenue for their organization. So all of these stakeholders, you can tell, all have kind of similar needs in terms of the types of use cases around building out on Salesforce and also making sure that they have the right data and the right insights available to be able to include within whatever they're building to meet some of those different business requirements. And ultimately, both us and Databricks, we want to better serve these stakeholders, the ones Ali had mentioned, the one that I'm kind of going through here. We want to be able to help better serve these stakeholders through and deliver technology that helps really remove any of those obstacles that would be within any kind of given organization. And that really brings us to why we're here today, right? Which is this Salesforce and Databricks partnership. And really, the vision kind of centers around bringing unparalleled integration, speed, and trusted access to customer data that's going to drive business value and transformation. And this partnership involves three different pillars. And the two we're going to really, excuse me, highlight on our call today, which would be bring your own lake. Excuse me, sorry. Bring your own lake, which would enable easy and secure bidirectional access of customer data between Salesforce Data Cloud and the Databricks Data Intelligence Platform. Bringing your own model, which is leveraging your existing machine learning and AI models built in Databricks from within Salesforce Data Cloud via Einstein Studios. And we already have the capabilities today to be able to analyze your lakehouse, being able to supercharge your business intelligence by analyzing your Databricks data within Tableau.
Well, I love the sound of supercharging, CJ. That's always a good thing. We want to hear that, especially at the start of a new year. It's the season for the dry throat. Do we need some water? I always have to have my water bottle near me for that. CJ, while you take a breath, yes, let me let me ask you a question, but now I'm going to make you talk immediately again. So I'm wondering, because I think you're kind of bringing us around, and you said this really well. Let's get into the why we're here. And so we've talked a little bit about the why and what brought you guys together in the partnership. And I love the switch that we were starting to kind of look at who's in our audience and how these solutions might really be impacting them, and kind of bringing it home for everyone who's here with us today, and how they might be able to use some of these new exciting features in their organizations. And I'd like to zoom in on that even further. So I'm wondering if you can start to get into, the what of this, of all of this fun stuff today. What are these really cool and exciting features? What are the new innovative things that are happening in this partnership that our audience could walk away and really bring to their organization?
Yeah, and hopefully, new year, new throat
That's
is what
right.
I'm kind of using as a resolution
Oh
here.
yes, that old saying. Yes.
Yes, yes, but yeah, no. Again, really excited about the two of these specific capabilities that I'm going to highlight, and we'll start first with the being able to bring a single view of the customer and bring your own lake with Databricks feature. So one of the things with Salesforce Data Cloud that we had run into with customers when we were working and kind of trying to gather different types of feedback and requirements was, a lot of our customers have been building on technology like Databricks, and they're kind of building out a curated enterprise data architecture that Databricks obviously helps enable, and being able to bring that data from those different data silos together. And when we started bringing in or talking about Data Cloud, we heard a lot of kind of feedback of, well, we don't want to create unnecessary data silos. We don't want to have Data Cloud be inserted as just another data silo. We already are using Databricks. That seems to be kind of duplicative. We don't want to have to replicate data between the two. And we took that feedback seriously, and we reached out and started to work with Databricks on a way that we would be able to still access data that you had been using and curating and bringing together within Databricks, but not have to replicate that and not have to build another data pipeline, another type of manual kind of ETL based process just to have Data Cloud be able to access that data. And so this led us to our Bring Your Own Lake and that partnership that we've developed with Databricks, where we're able to, in short, be able to share data in real time between Data Cloud and Databricks. So we have a ability to provide seamless access to Databricks data from Data Cloud, as if that data was all stored natively in one place, all with trust and security at the forefront. So we can, again, data that you have within your Databricks instance, we would be able to to access that seamlessly and in a live fashion, so that think of a use case where you have a marketer that wants to access a table or a schema that's available in Databricks for a given segment. They'd be able to do that and have essentially a live query that would be done to execute and bring that data and make that available to be, to drive kind of that segment build. What this also does is it helps enriches Data Cloud customer profiles. So if you have Databricks data, again, if you want to be able to use that in addition to Salesforce data and building a customer kind of 360 profile. So we'll talk a little bit later, I think, around like specific use cases. But if you want to, think of it having like a service agent that needs to be able to access feedback data that might be gathered by Experian. And that data is not going to be stored in Salesforce. It may not make sense to store that in Salesforce, but you'll have that available in Databricks. Wouldn't it be great to be able to see previous feedback that Experian or another third party could provide and be able to display that on a given record within Service Cloud? So when that service agent is helping an individual, they'd be able to use that to help influence or personalize and make that conversation more relevant. And that's what this ultimately will be able to do, is having Databricks be kind of that source that can sync with Data Cloud in that zero ETL manner, and then be able to apply those different attributes, like that example with feedback, onto a given profile. And then the last piece here is that we're really able to now help unify analytics across data platforms for faster insights. So organizations can be able to make smarter decisions with analytics across combined data sets, and that unlocks new insights across teams and platforms and their tool of choice. So right here, this bring your own lake kind of unified data architecture, you can see just as a quick kind of high level, and then I want Ali to jump in here and talk a little bit about the Databricks portion of this. But I'll just start in that you can see here on that left side, we have those pre-built integrations with any of our Salesforce-based apps. None of that obviously is going away. That is still available to be leveraged in Data Cloud. But now we have, you can see under Data Cloud, we have the ability to connect, we can unify, we can segment, we can activate, all with that data that would be available already within that underlying Databricks platform or instance that you may already be using. And I'll just kind of flip it over here to Ali to talk a little bit more in terms of how that would work from the Databricks end.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, CJ. So I think it's important, right? Salesforce Data Cloud is really great at connecting that customer journey. Connecting, like you had mentioned, whether it's Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, making sure that we're speaking to and kind of communicating with, personalizing that experience for your customers very consistently across those different channels. And I think from a Databricks perspective, right, where we come in as part of this zero copy, zero ETL sharing approach is Databricks has our 4 kind of foundational components as well. And where those lie is around data engineering and analytics, data science, and AI ML. And again, while Data Cloud is kind of built for the business, built for those users in that customer journey, Databricks can help provide kind of that data foundation for all of that big data, unstructured, semi-structured, structured data, bringing that into kind of a single unified platform as the foundation of those data needs across the organization, across all of those data teams. And once that foundation is set, I think is really where our partnership with Salesforce and Databricks really enables the organization to easily and securely share that data, as well as those models and any analysis that they've run in Databricks with Salesforce Data Cloud users. So your MarTech teams or your customer support teams will now be able to access all of their organization's data, leveraging that zero ETL sharing framework for a variety of those different use cases, right? And of course, including those activations or visualizations and personalization that Data Cloud is really driving for their business. And users in Data Cloud, like you mentioned, right, can leverage not only the data from Salesforce, but also third-party data, as well as any pipelines or data that their data engineers already have in place in Databricks, not really having to reinvent the wheel, like you said, not having to create an additional copy of that data in Data Cloud, now having kind of that unified data architecture approach with this partnership. So I think it's just unlocks a lot of value for our customers when it comes to optionality and really just deriving additional value from their data, while ultimately minimizing additional cost and complexity. And again, that duplication or silos of data that historically have existed. So I think the next question naturally, right, is what does this look like in practice for your teams? So I used to work in implementations about 6 years ago, and a common scenario that I would come across is my customers would need engagement data to be made available to their data teams so that they can, within their data warehouse, run analytics, run reports, derive insights from this data to ultimately be passed back into a marketing cloud for us to use for segmentation and to build that customer journey. And to do this, we'd have to create an export, drop a file on the FTP, pick up that file, derive those insights from the data team's perspective, and then return that file, import it, process it, etc. Now, it's doable, but it's time consuming and it slowed down our campaign process. So I think from that perspective, right, bring your own lake alleviates a lot of that pain and those challenges. It streamlines that entire process. And with that zero ETL process, data teams can now easily read engagement data from Salesforce Data Cloud in Databricks to build those insights or analytics or models against it directly in Databricks. And now your data teams no longer have to wait for extracts to get that data. And they instead can access that in real time. And that way they can easily access the data, timely access the data, and use native capabilities to query that data directly within Databricks. Now, from the business persona perspective, right, once those insights have been derived, the data team can seamlessly share that back to the business user, in our case within Data Cloud, to enrich that customer profile and build those segments and leverage that data that's already been prepped for them, or insights that have been made for them, and use that as a native object within Data Cloud to create those personalized customer journeys across all of those channels. So to kind of take this a step deeper, what does that look like across our different types of customers, across different industries? Right. So in retail, especially as retailers continue to evolve into e-commerce companies, they need new ways to engage customers where they spend the most time. And a lot of times that's on their devices. Many retailers are utilizing retail partners and user generated behavior data, such as how a shopper responds from different ads, to determine this. And a lot of this data happens to be unstructured. And that means that it can be incredibly challenging to access and make sense and work with that data. And this is really where Databricks can come in to allow data teams to store, process, manage, and analyze that unstructured data and utilize things like artificial intelligence. They can use machine learning algorithms, natural language processing, analytics models to really extract kind of what the business might need from that unstructured data, extract some meaning from that data to ultimately provide that back to the business so that they can make the most out of it. So once that meaningful data is kind of pulled out from that unstructured source within Databricks with the Bring Your Own Lake, your teams within Salesforce Data Cloud can then seamlessly utilize that data to build their audiences, to build their segments, or even make that available within CRM, right? And those additional business teams to create those personalized experiences. Now, another example, right, is from a comms and entertainment space. They deal with tons of big data, and Databricks has several customers who ingest over 10 petabytes of data a day and manage over 100 million of petabytes of data kind of across their offerings. And with Databricks, they're able to ingest these huge amounts of data, like customer data or raw real-time data, and make that usable to then derive insights or build models against, or even deliver alerts and recommendations. And with the storage of all of this data, with Databricks being on the customer's data lake, storage costs for all of that big data is relatively low. And again, once that big data is kind of cleansed and transformed into something usable by the business, is where this bring your own lake capability really adds a ton of value. You're only bringing in the data you need for those specific use cases or business teams and what they need. And you're able to, again, reference that data as native objects, making that unification or ID resolution that you're running in Data Cloud very seamless to ultimately segment and activate that audience. And then just the last one I'll touch on here is fins, right? For financial services, having access to CRM data to be made available within Databricks is a huge value add of this partnership. It will help teams make more informed business decisions regarding liquidity or risk or market positioning. And Databricks data engineers or data engineers working in Databricks are able to develop consistent pipelines that feed Data Cloud to really accelerate that development of quality data models by their data scientists and making them available in near real time to those business teams. Now, these are just a few examples of kind of the power of Salesforce Data Cloud and Databricks and how that partnership really enables your teams to better collaborate on data and really truly create that unified 360 view of your customer to be utilized across your organization, creating a more collaborative environment for your data engineers, analysts, and data scientists, as well as those MarTech teams, those CRM teams, CRM managers, customer experience, and digital marketing teams that CJ walked us through earlier.
That's such an important part. That integration is really enabling so much growth and opportunity, and the best and most scalable companies really are able to hit that integrative and collaborative team dynamic. And one of the major points that you brought up several times through that walkthrough, and Ali, that was awesome, really going through each industry and how different opportunities are available there. But ML came up a lot in that conversation, and I would love to just dig into that with you a little bit further, because machine learning is very interesting, and I think something that maybe we have some ideas about, but maybe not as much as we'd like. And so can you dig in a little bit more to how Databricks is using ML?
Thanks so much, Jess. Absolutely. So Databricks machine learning is a data native and collaborative solution that delivers end-to-end data science and AI capabilities on a single platform. Data teams can use Databricks machine learning to collaborate across the full machine learning lifecycle, from experimentation to production, without the overhead of maintaining various data silos and disjointed services. It really provides all of the capabilities needed for your data teams to successfully train and deploy machine learning models, and instead focus their attention on business needs as opposed to kind of playing system integrators. Databricks ML makes it easier for data scientists to discover, access, explore, and reuse high quality data with a managed catalog and feature stores. With Databricks Foundation of a lakehouse, Databricks scientists can easily build high quality data sets on the freshest and latest data using familiar languages and consistent formats. As new data comes in to the Databricks Lakehouse, quality checks can ensure that data is pristine and ready for analytics, while data versioning and lineage helps meet compliance needs. With Salesforce's Einstein Studio Bring Your Own Model feature, it's now easier than ever to serve your Databricks models to your business teams. So with that, CJ, would you mind telling us a bit about Salesforce's Bring Your Own Model capability with Databricks?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for kind of giving an overview there, especially on some of the services that you'd be building in terms of the ML flow and the machine learning on Databricks. So we're really excited about Einstein Studio. This is what it is a feature of Data Cloud, but what Einstein Studio really allows us to do on the Salesforce side is to help us be able to work closer with data scientists where they are ultimately working and where they're kind of building those models. So Bring Your Own Model, BYOM, it's really an approach that enables data scientists to build custom machine learning models in Databricks ML, register those within Einstein Studio, And then you can use the outputs of these models across the Salesforce platform. And with the zero ETL approach, data scientists are able to use that data directly from the Salesforce Data Cloud into Databricks ML to build and train those models. So this is a bi-directional sharing, right? We have the ability for Data Cloud, you're kind of unifying all of that Salesforce data, being able to use that as training sets that you can share back securely and natively with your data scientists that are working within Databricks. They're able to use that enriched data, and then as data that would be trained for those models, those can be registered and then deployed within the Salesforce platform in just a few clicks to really help generate those predictions in real time, or if you'd have to do that in batch as well in terms of the different types of use cases. But I really like to think of it as an ability to, you have a data, an ML model that your data scientists may be building in Databricks. What's the easiest way for them to be able to share the inputs, the outputs, the insights that would be coming from that model? And we can be able, with this new feature, to be able, in partnership, to share that back and ultimately surface those insights on those sales, those Service Cloud records, being able to use that for some sort of segment that you'd be activating down to Marketing Cloud, for example, as well. So our partnership for Bring Your Own Model, it really helps drive that hyper-personalization for your consumers in 3 different or primary ways. It's really helping. I know, Jess, you said we talk a lot about supercharging, so I'm going to use that again here. We're supercharging that kind of customer 360 with those own AI models that you have been building in-house. So driving predictions, insights, hyper-personalization across the Salesforce Customer 360 platform, using those specialized models that are proprietary to what you've been building within your organization. This is helping simplify access to data for AI model training. In the past, if you wanted to leverage data from Salesforce to be able to use as inputs for these models, you would have to build some sort of integration or process in order to do that. No more. We'll be able to access that Data Cloud data securely within Databricks ML for model training without copying data or kind of any of those complex data integrations that you may have had to build previously. And then really just being able to ultimately realize the value of your custom AI investments faster. So empowering both business and data teams to move from concept. We always talk about, what are the use cases? Where can we best leverage AI? Well, being able to bring this to life much quicker, putting those concepts to deployable AI that can be used in some of those different Salesforce or other business applications that you can actually use in your day-to-day. Now, when we think about also where BYOM and Einstein Studio helps support, there's a number of different use cases that this will ultimately help drive. So we've got, for example, product recommendations. So by integrating your AI model into the Customer 360, retailers, you can offer more relevant suggestions, improve customer shopping experience by analyzing things such as browsing history, purchase behavior, preferences, and more. Propensity scoring, this is combining the power of Databricks AI with your Customer 360 data. Really helps develop more of those propensity to buy models that analyze customer data, including purchase history. Think of things such as browsing behavior, demographic information, and any sort of interactions with marketing campaigns. There's a number of these other different use cases here that this will ultimately help support upsell and cross-sell. If you're looking for, hey, there's a new opportunity for a given upsell on a customer, or be able to cross-sell a product that they also may be interested in, we're able to leverage that model and insight generated from that model, surface that to a given sales rep so that they can use that for that upsell or cross-sell opportunity. Retention, as well as media mix modeling, are also part of being able to use cases that would be supported by integrating some of these different models into Salesforce. And then also being able to activate custom AI in the flow of the work. So not only can you be able to leverage this in terms of attributes on an individual, but for those that are familiar with using things such as like Salesforce Flow, you can actually bring over these different insights and really help automate a lot of these different types of outcomes or outputs to be able to be leveraged within Salesforce Flow, as well as data actions and more, to be able to kind of surface some of these different things. And then, Allie, I know also that there are other ways, we talk about all of these different use cases, bring your own model, being able to build some of these different machine learning capabilities and services on Databricks. I know there's a lot of different types of services that Databricks also offers to help kind of accelerate these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a great point, right? We want all of you to be able to get up and running, try this out, see if it works for your business, what it drives through your business. And one thing at Databricks that we offer is what we call solution accelerators. And you can find actually many of these use cases that CJ walked through here available as solution accelerators on the Databricks website. And what they are is essentially free, purpose built guides that are fully functioning notebooks that you can actually import right into your Databricks workspace that will enable your teams to essentially just plug in your data, your schemas that you have in Databricks into pre built, so to speak, models that you can kind of test with and tune based off of what you want. But what it allows you to do is really speed up getting these results faster across some of your most common and high impact use cases. So really just a great way if you're looking at all this information, as we covered a lot and they're just curious how to get started, right? It's a good way, especially if you're new to exploring data science workloads and building out machine learning models to get a look there.
Yeah, Ali, I love hearing those use cases. Thank you to both you and CJ for walking us through that. Because obviously, it's so cool to hear about all these wonderful, exciting innovations and solutions. And then the best part is starting to think about how we might bring them into our lives and where they might be directly impacting us and how we can start to experiment and play ourselves. And I know that the audience is really pumped up and excited to play. We've got lots of great questions coming in. We're going to get to as many of them as we can. We're very tight on time. But speaking of learning a little bit more and jumping in and starting to experiment, CJ, we've got a couple of resources up on the screen for everyone here right now and in the handouts tab as well. Can you tell us about the resources that we're seeing here?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I would say probably, obviously, you attending this webinar, great first step. The next step would, I think, next be around, making sure you read the official press release. We'll have some more kind of just kind of official documentation that you'll be able to go, and we'll hopefully include some more resources of where you can be able to find more information. Obviously, the next step that we'd also want you to take is to reach out to your Salesforce AE or your Databricks account team. We have a pilot currently that is going with this. We're hoping to have this generally available soon. But if you are interested, if there is, this is definitely something that you feel like your organization will want to test or be part of that pilot program, our sales reps would be absolutely excited to talk to you about that opportunity. And we also have a Databricks and Tableau webinar that's coming up here in just a few weeks. So all of this, right? It's great to talk about the ability to bring in data, to leverage those insights, but we also want to be able to analyze that data. And so we have a way to be able to do that, obviously, with our partnership around Tableau and Databricks. So we've got a really cool webinar that is coming up here in just a few weeks, and highly would encourage you to attend that as well.
Awesome. So many great ways to learn more. I love that. But don't go anywhere just yet. Don't leave, because we've got time for a few questions and we've got some great questions coming in. So I'm just going to pull a few of them up here and then we will get into some Q&A. All right, so let's start with this one here. Do you need Salesforce Data Cloud to access these new integrations? What do you think? CJ, I think I'll kick that to you. CJ, can you hear me okay?
You might be coming off mute, but I can take that one, Jess. So yes, you do need Salesforce Data Cloud to utilize these new integrations.
Okay, nice and easy. All right, well, let's try another one here. And actually, Ali, I think this one's going to go to you anyways. What is Databricks ML? Tell us more. I know we kind of brushed against that, but let's dig into it a bit further.
Yeah, absolutely. So Databricks machine learning really provides a pre-built deep learning infrastructure. It includes built-in pre-configured GPU support with drivers and supporting libraries. So obviously, ML is a lot of things. We have a lot of good materials on our website as well, and a big book of ML ops. So I highly recommend, definitely if you want to learn more, right, we could do entire sessions on this. Yes. But absolutely a lot of good material out there.
We could do, and Ali, I hope that we do get to do entire sessions on this in the future. We'll have to have you guys back. CJ, I'm just checking. Did we get your mic back up and working? No, looks like we may have just dropped him again. Okay, well, we're still working on that. Sometimes when we switch cameras off, it switches everything off. Okay, let's do, well, if Ali, I'm going to keep asking you questions, but if we hit on something that we think we want to wait for CJ to come back, you just let me know.
No. I can you guys hear me?
Yes, we got you now.
Okay. Yeah, I had to refresh the browser there. So all good, back with you guys.
Yes, as always, that is the ultimate fix for just about anything. Well, just in time, how about this question here? What data is available in Salesforce Data Cloud?
So yeah, that's actually almost like a trick question, right? It's your data. So Salesforce Data Cloud, it's going to be the data that Salesforce Data Cloud would be using or have access to is really whatever you decide that Salesforce Data Cloud would want to be able to access. So we have a number of different connectors, obviously, within our Salesforce ecosystem. If you are using, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, et cetera, you'd be able to connect any of those different sources and use any of that data within Data Cloud. But of course, as part of this, announcement in terms of with Databricks, if you have that data that lives within Databricks and you want to use that within Data Cloud, we now have that ability to query that data and make that available to be used within Data Cloud as well. So really, ultimately, it just comes down to think about the use case that you're ultimately trying to execute. And then where can Data Cloud help kind of execute that? What would it be in terms of, is it segmentation? Is it trying to derive some sort of insight? Do you want to have data available to activate, to make available for a sales rep or a service agent? Really just always comes down to what's the use case you're ultimately trying to achieve.
Awesome. I like that. I really like the start of your answer, CJ, that what data is available? Your data is available. However you need it. All right, well, let's get in a little bit more in depth because I think that the bring your own lake side of things was really interesting. And we got a few questions coming in about that. So am I going to be able to use the integration across different cloud zones and or regions?
So I can take that as well. So today you'll be able to use that in the U.S. East region around, for example, if you have like a Databricks instance that's working with AWS. We are expanding that to be able to go cross region and work across a number of different other availability zones. So we should have hopefully more detail and information on that when that is available. But we do have it looking at, for example, U.S. East today as the primary region.
Awesome. All right. We are very tight on time and I'm cutting it short with my time here with you guys, but I'm going to sneak in this last question because we always get a couple of questions about pricing. And of course that is top of mind. Is there anything that you want the audience to know about pricing or licensing, anything that they should have as they're kind of thinking whether or not this is going to work for their budget?
Yeah, I can start at least on the Salesforce side, and then if there's anything else, Ali, you want to add from the Databricks end. But I think it really comes down, I mean, on the Data Cloud side, we use a consumption-based pricing model. So think of it as you essentially just pay for what you end up using or end up processing with Data Cloud. So if you are bringing in more records or you're, running, for example, things like identity resolution in Data Cloud, that consumption can vary, and that can be ultimately what would change how much you're going to ultimately end up having to be as in terms of a cost in terms of your licenses. So I'd say my main kind of suggestion would be is that we do have information on our Salesforce help documentation around what are those different levers to help with pricing. Would highly encourage you to go take a look at that and be able to understand what those different levers are. And then we also will have that available for our integration with Databricks as well.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. That customization is so great. Ali, was there anything that you wanted to add on any of those?
Nope, I totally agree and reiterate, right? Databricks is also a consumption first approach. So you can work with your account teams if you have any questions on different models you might be building and what that might look like from a consumption perspective. And I do know as well that as we are getting closer to being GA with Bring Your Own Lake, pricing for that will be finalized. So just keep in touch with your account teams. We will let you know as we learn more about what that will be.
Perfect. And we've got some awesome resources and next steps up on the screen. I know, CJ, this is what we were talking about earlier in terms of, good follow-ups and takeaways. That press release, besides being QR coded on the screen for you right now, is also linked in the handouts tab if anyone's looking for a little bit more info on this really, really exciting partnership and what the impacts could be for all of you. CJ, Ali, we are right at time and I want to let you guys get going, but I do want to thank you so much for this incredible presentation and for sticking around to answer some questions. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks
Jess.
for having us.
All right. And for all of you out there, I know that it is right at time and you all need to get going on about your days, but hang tight if you can, because we're going to give away a prize. I promise I will get to it very quickly. One last reminder, grab those QR codes on the screen right now, click on those links. And if you haven't already done so, you've also got access to that press release in the handouts tab as well. Lots of cool resources for you there in the handouts tab. All right, so last reminders out of the way, let's go ahead and give away our $250 Amazon gift card going to one lucky winner who is here live and present with us at the webinar, and that is Subash D'Souza of California. Subash D'Souza of California. Congratulations to Subash, and as always, we will be in touch about claiming your prize after we wrap up our webinar, so stay tuned for that. All right, my friends. Well, that is bringing us to the end of our day. Keith, I see you. Thanks back on to you as well. And, on that note, let's do some thank yous. Big, big, big thank you on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team to Salesforce and to Databricks for making this webinar possible, especially to our incredible speakers, Ali and CJ. You have both given us a lot to think about today. I think there was a lot of conversations started, and that really brings me around to all of you here with us because, of course, we cannot have these conversations. I mean, Ali and CJ and I can certainly sit in a room and talk to ourselves, but it is nowhere near as much fun as when we get to talk to all of you. And I think a lot of us coming back from our holiday breaks, our vacations, all kinds of time away, and feeling ready to dive in and start learning some cool things. And that was what we got to do today. We got to hear about this incredible partnership that is really changing how we interact with our data, what opportunities we can build with our data, and that is so exciting. And that is why I love being a part of these conversations, because we start with these in-depth conversations, we ask some questions, we explore topics together, new and innovative partnerships and ideas, and then new and exciting things spin out from there. So I'm hoping that all of you go on about into the rest of your day and bring some of these questions, bring some of these conversations, bring some of these ideas forward, and keep talking about these things because they are fun and exciting, and this is just scratching the surface. There's lots more to dig into with Databricks, with Salesforce, and with all of these cool innovative solutions we've talked about today. So please do spend some time exploring a little bit further today. Well, once again, a big thank you to all of you. I know that I have had a great time with you all. I hope that you have as well. I cannot wait to see you all at another webinar again soon. And until then, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful end to your day.